Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football Update Show. We'll talk about the game and what I think is going to happen. But first, uh, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Uh, it is a Vikings trivia question. Who was the Vikings defensive coordinator in 1992? And I will have that answer later in the podcast. Uh, it's Monday Night Football Week 12. Are you ready for some football? Because we got a great NFC matchup for you tonight. The Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears are battling it out right now at US Bank Stadium. The Minnesota Vikings are coming off a 21-20 loss at the hands of the Denver Broncos, and the Vikings are really going to be out to win this game tonight. The resurgent Minnesota Vikings have entered the playoff picture after uh, a lackluster 0-3 start to the season. A win at home on Monday Night Football against the bottom feeding Chicago Bears, who are 3-8 on the season, would solidify their contention for an NFC wildcard spot. Wide receiver Justin Jefferson appears likely to miss one more game before returning after the Vikings bye week. Justin Fields is back under center for the Bears, who put up a strong showing against the division-leading Detroit Lions last week. And Cannon quarterback Josh Dobbs continued to surprise as the replacement for Kirk Cousins and lead the Vikings to a primetime victory over their NFC division rivals. We will find out if he can very shortly, but we're going to find out. We're going to be finding out as this game goes on. So, right now they find themselves down 3-0 to the Bears, the Vikings, right now in the second quarter. The Minnesota Vikings made a habit last season of going down to the wire, setting an NFL record in the process by winning all 11 contests that were decided by 8 points or fewer. Those close games predictably haven't broken their way in 2023 nearly as often. They'll find no sympathy from the Chicago Bears tonight. I understand what it feels like to lose a game that you feel like you should have won, but at the end of the day, the only thing you can do in this league is grow, said Bears linebacker TJ Edwards, reflecting on his team's 31-26 loss at Detroit last week. And that's what the loss the Bears are coming off of. And start to point fingers at and things like that's when stuff gets really bad. We don't have the guys in here that are doing that. Uh, we don't have the coaches that are doing that. We've got the right guys in here to build this thing and keep it growing. The Bears are 3-8, blew a 12-point lead with about 3 minutes left in the NFC North to the NFC North leading Lions to fall to 1-4 in one-score games. They play at Minnesota. They're playing right now in Minnesota tomorrow night. Right now, tonight. Excuse me. Uh, it's a massive game, said Edwards, who's in his first year with Chicago after coming from reigning NFC champion Philadelphia. We're going to find out who we are this week. That applies to the Vikings, who are 6-5 as well, on the heels of their 21-20 defeat at Denver. They led the majority of the game despite 3 turnovers, and we're still ahead by 5 points until the Broncos scored a touchdown with 2:14 remaining. And they are 5-5 this season in games decided by one score. We're not going to be negative, Nancy's, and act like we don't move the ball up and down the field throughout the game, Vikings quarterback Joshua Dobbs said. But we are going to acknowledge the opportunity for growth and the opportunities that we left out there that set us behind the sticks or put our defense in a bad situation. Uh, Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell has one score decisions in 22 of 29 games on the job, including the playoffs. He has steered the club out of a September skid caused primarily by those pesky turnovers, costing them dearly in close games to gain control of a wild card spot. He has kept the offense running with superstar wide receiver Justin Jefferson, who has been out for the last 6 games with a hamstring injury, and Dobbs taking over 3 weeks ago after season-ending Achilles tendon tear injury for Kirk Cousins. But Jefferson should be back after the Vikings bye week. He will be returning. This game is in prime time against the uh, uh, subtly improving Bears. Will be another important test for the second year coach with the Vikings, eager to rest after entertaining their entering their bye week. They understand the week in, week out urgency, O'Connell said. Preparation has been uh, something we like to hang our hat on around here. Make sure we understand that every moment matters. Uh, Bears quarterback Justin Fields had a sharp return last week, completing 16 of 23 passes for 169 yards and a touchdown and 105.2 rating after missing 4 games because of a dislocated right thumb. He also rushed for 18 times, 18 times for a season high 104 yards. Fields was hurt on a sack by Danielle Hunter in a 19-13 loss to the Vikings at home on October 15th. Not just Justin, it's us as a group. That's where I think we can take the next step to finishing the games, Coach Matt Eberflus said. Uh, Alexander Matson lost a fumble for Minnesota last week, a costly giveaway deep in Denver territory that the Broncos converted into a field goal. Uh, Madison said was otherwise productive with 81 yards on 18 carries, but second-year player Ty Chandler has been showing more burst through the line and eating into Madison's workload. Chandler had 114 yards on 14 touches against the Broncos. He has grown tremendously since he was a rookie. Since he was a rookie offensive coordinator, as a rookie offensive coordinator, Wes Phillips said. Excuse me. Uh, Cousins and Dobbs have combined for 22 touchdown passes and 7 receivers. The Vikings are the only team league with 4 players with at least 3 receiving touchdowns each. Jordan Addison 7, T.J. Hotchinson 4, Jefferson 3, and Madison 3 as well. The Bears have a 12-game losing streak against the NFC North with a 16-14 decision at Detroit on November 25th, 2021. Their last such victory. They're 0-9 in the division in 2 seasons under Eberflus, who was 6-22 overall. So the Bears really have their work cut out tonight. They're going to do everything they can to try to win this game tonight. But I have picked the Vikings to win this game tonight. So, and right now it's 3-0 second quarter with 43 seconds to go till halftime. The Bears have the lead, and Vikings have the ball, the 1st and 10 at the Chicago 39. We're going to get back to this in just a moment. But right now it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football Week 12 trivia question. And it is a Vikings trivia question. Who was the Vikings defensive coordinator in 1992? And if you said Tony Dungy, you are correct. Tony Dungy was defensive coordinator from 1992 through 1995 before becoming the head coach of Tampa Bay and later Indianapolis. And I'll have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. Uh, I have Minnesota, and so does my brother-in-law for tonight's game. And right now, we are both 10-5 right now. We are 10-5. We're going to end up in a tie this week. And it's still 3-0 with 43 seconds left to go to halftime. And it was first and 10. It was a penalty. Josh Dobbs passed incomplete deep right to TJ Hoskinson for a penalty on Chicago. Defensive pass interference, 26 yards enforced at the Chicago 39. There was no play. So that's where we stand right now. And it's been an interesting first half, that's for sure. And it's been one field goal, and that was by the Bears. So right now it's 3-0, second quarter, and there's still 43 seconds left to go to halftime on the clock here. First and 10 to Chicago 19. The Vikings have the ball. So we'll see what the Vikings can do if they can score before halftime. But I think, and I do feel, the Vikings will get the win in this game tonight. And I picked them to win, so is my brother in law, Eric Hoyle. He has picked them. So we'll see how this game turns out. And that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scout Sports 101 Monday Night Football Update Show. I will have the post game show once the game between the Vikings and Bears has concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 38 seconds to go. 3-0 Bears. First and 10, Chicago 13. Vikings have the ball. Announcer, second and 24, Chicago 27. And the Vikings still have the ball. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.